Danielle, how long have you been in real estate?
I have been on the residential side of real estate for a little over 9 years. I started in real estate on the commercial side doing property management for commercial office buildings. And so totaling about 21 years.
Whoa, that's a
Yeah,
long time.
I was a baby when I started.
I was going to ask you that next question, but we'll just skip right over that. So, do you like residential or commercial better?
I think I like residential better. I like being able to help people on a personal level, and I love looking at houses. I love different decorating ideas, going through like what people are going to do with their homes. But I did learn really good customer service on the commercial side.
hmm So, being a residential realtor, you of course, like I do, we see a lot of crazy things when people are trying to sell their house.
Yes.
Um, we see some stuff, and you're going, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm having to look at this." Right?
Oh yeah, I had one the other day that a homeowner had called me and said, "Can you go take a look at my investment property and see if you'd be interested in selling it?" And I walked about 10 feet through the door and said, "Absolutely not."
What was wrong with it?
It was a repaired sinkhole home, and I think it had some sinkhole activity that was going on. There were like peaks in the floor when you stepped on it. Had laminate flooring, and it was teetering on some raises in the concrete. There was doors missing. The pool was green. I was kind of afraid to walk through the whole house.
So does that question come up to you a lot about sinkholes?
It does. It does.
The reason I asked that question is before I moved to Panama City Beach, that was one of my main concerns. And I went and looked at the sinkhole map, and I found out that most of the sinkholes are in the middle of the state. And
Hmm.
that's where you're at, is in Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, we have some areas. Sometimes a sinkhole is just settlement. The land wasn't compacted properly under the house when it was built. Sometimes it is a true sinkhole where, there's lime rock and stuff that is shifted and water tables and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, there's parts of the area that I serve that they call Sinkhole Alley.
So how bad is it?
I mean, some areas bad. Sometimes I wonder if it was, a scam by the companies just saying you have a sinkhole and every house on the street has one too, and we're going to make a lot of money.
Well, it's kind of funny because I saw a special on 60 Minutes about sinkholes. And this guy was watching TV in his living room, and all of a sudden he hears this loud crash, like
Hmm.
the sound of a car hitting a building. So
Hmm.
he walks down the hall and calls out to his son. He opens the door, and the entire floor has gone down. The
Hmm.
entire bedroom has vanished. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
Yeah, not in my area, more south of me, but the whole
Oh
house was swallowed.
my God.
But I mean, it's not just Florida. I had done some research, and all 50 states have sinkholes.
Really?
Look at that car museum in the Midwest that had been swallowed.
That's crazy. I mean, that's
Hmm.
absolutely crazy. Okay, so we're going to move on from sinkholes because we don't want people thinking about moving to Tampa not to move because they're scared of sinkholes. Because
Yeah.
you got other things to worry about, like the alligators that are roaming all over the city, right?
Let's see, I've been here for 14 years, and I've only actually seen one alligator roaming across the street.
Oh my God. I remember when I told everybody I was going to move to Florida, they go, oh, there's alligators there and tornadoes and sinkholes. And yeah, well, I'm from Louisiana, so don't try to scare me with the alligators.
Yeah, I think they're more afraid of us than we are of them. They move pretty quick when they see a person.
Yeah. All right, so let me ask you this question. Talk about going back to residential real estate. If you had your preference on what would the perfect price range be, what kind of structure would it be? What would be your perfect scenario of helping a seller? Tell me what the perfect range would be for you.
So in our area, our average home price is about 250 for, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 2 car garage, average home.
With a pool or
Um,
without a pool?
without a pool.
Okay.
Yeah, you're probably looking closer to 300 with a pool. I mean, some houses do have a pool, but not too many in that price range. Um, I I kind of carved out my niche, and I don't know exactly how, but it just seemed to work because my perfect buyer is somebody that has, it's a higher end buyer, normally
Now, when you say
350,
higher end, what price range are you talking higher end?
starting as low as 350, moving into the 500,000, seven hundred
Okay.
thousand. I
All
mean,
right.
I just listed two properties that are, one's at 1.8 million, one's at 1.4. So
That's awesome. I mean, I'm doing the math in my head on that one.
yeah.
You know, as realtors, we might not be good at math, but we can figure 3% of just about anything,
Well,
right?
that's why I couldn't do the call yesterday. I had some business to take care
Right.
of.
I understand. So, would you rather sell a house or a condo?
I prefer houses.
Why?
Um, there's just so much more to them. I don't know. I mean, that's unless it's beachfront. I love beachfront property. I love being down near the beach and the water. Then I'll sell anything. I'd sell you a popsicle stand if I could be near the beach.
Yeah. I live about
Uh,
a mile from the beach, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah. I mean, you can't be sad at the beach. It's just such a happy place.
Right, exactly. But they're
I go
so
over.
expensive. Oh my
They
God.
are.
I was
They
looking
are.
at new construction in Panama City Beach, and there was this 3-story. And I still got the frames up. And this is the first time I've ever seen this on a beach property, was they were building an elevator in this house. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is going to cost at least $2 million for this house with an elevator.
Yeah. Yeah.
How often do you see elevators in houses in Tampa?
New construction, pretty much. I mean, if you're in the million plus range, you're seeing them in quite a bit. Um, especially in the flood areas, in the coastal areas, because they have to start building on the second floor. They have to build the Key West style homes, so a lot of the houses have elevators. And if
Okay,
they don't have elevators, people are putting them in.
I have zero experience when it comes to elevators in a home. Zero. After 18 years, zip. So why would somebody put an elevator in their house if they're not disabled?
Um, because it's a pretty big staircase you're going up, and imagine carrying all those groceries and everything up there. And the people that are buying those houses can afford them. To put an elevator in, it's 60,000 to have the shaft and the car put in, 20,000 if the shaft is already there. So it's worth it. And some of these houses are 3 and 4 stories.
All right, so if you're doing a comp, okay, and you've got a 3-story house with an elevator, and
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to run comps on 3 stories um, without one, one's with one, one's without,
Mm-hmm.
how are you going to do a price adjustment for an elevator?
Well, obviously, you're not going to get the whole 60,000.
Right.
That's newly installed. So it's probably about maybe a $10,000 to $15,000 difference for the one that
Okay.
had.
The reason I ask that is because in Texas, where I'm from, they say that you can account for about 1% of the total value of the house for a pool.
Hmm.
So is there any rule of thumb on an elevator inside a house?
I mean, it's not going to be a huge adjustment,
Okay.
if you're comping 2 houses. I mean, with a pool, we don't really do 1%. It's more along the lines of, if you have, your standard pool is about a $10,000 adjustment. If you have, a pool with extras, with a spa, with pavers, you may go up to 25,000. If you have like the Mac Daddy Tropical Oasis pool, it may be, 35,000.
So let's move on to outdoor kitchens. How many outdoor kitchens do you see in houses in Tampa?
Not too often.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think if somebody's going to stay in their house and they want to do upgrades so that they can sell later, not anytime in the near, but if
Mhm.
you could recommend to anybody to do any upgrades that's going to give them the best value when it's time to sell, what kind of upgrades would you recommend that they do?
Kitchens, floorings, and bathrooms. That's really what sells a house.
Okay. What about adding a pool in after you move in the house? Don't do it.
Never. I
What
mean,
about,
pools now are, if you're getting a basic pool, it's $50,000. If you're getting a really nice pool, it's $100,000, and you're only getting, maximum $25,000-$30,000 adjustment for that pool. So
wow.
if you want a pool, buy a house with one.
It's
Unless,
amazing what the market is so different between Texas, Florida, North Florida, and where you're at in Tampa, Florida, for
hmm
what I'm used to. Of course, where I'm originally from in Louisiana, most people don't have pools.
hmm
Can't afford a pool. It's just not a high economic place to live. Um,
yeah.
now
I
let's talk
think
about
because they're so popular here, that's probably why they're not given too much value.
right. So let's talk about working with buyers.
hmm
Um, for people that are watching this video on YouTube or Facebook or wherever they're watching this, what recommendations do you give to, let's say, first home buyers who have never bought a house? What do they need to do other
I
than
mean,
call you?
after they call me or before? um, I mean, the first step is going to be to get pre-approved, with a lender to make sure they really can buy in where they should be shopping in. I don't think there's anything more heartbreaking than not knowing where you should be shopping, finding the perfect house, and then finding out it's, $50,000 over your budget.
Right.
So, I mean, that's always the first step. And then it's really, for my end, it would be, a lot of, it's educating the buyer. I always encourage a first time home buyer to ask a ton of questions. Ask me everything, that you're thinking. And, that's basically it. You really need somebody good that's going to guide you through the process.
So
And,
what makes you better as a buyer's agent over the average realtor in Tampa?
my knowledge, my experience, how long I've been in the business, and I really care. I care about the people that are working with me. I want them to have a great experience. I mean, I remember going back to when I bought my first house. I want them to have an experience like that. My mom
What-
sold me my first house, by the way.
Oh, nice. You didn't fire her, huh?
No, I didn't fire her. She's actually my competition now.
Is she really? She are with different brokerages?
She owns her brokerage.
Ah, and she's not after you to join her?
Always,
I believe it.
always.
Okay. All right. We'll stay away from that one. All right. So,
No, it's not a bad thing. I actually started with her. I was with her for about a year and a half, and then I moved.
yeah. So going back to the buyers, now you have a buyer who's bought a house as a first-time home buyer, and now it's time for him to turn around and sell that house, and he calls you. What advice do you give them now, being the former first-time home buyer? Now it's time to sell. What advice are you going to give them? Because you're probably going to help them sell their house, which you sold them in the first place,
hmm
and you're probably going to help them find the next house. So tell me how that whole situation is going to work out.
I mean, first step would be for me to go. I'm already familiar with the house, but I'm going to want to know what kind of updates they did to the house. If they've, replaced anything, is there a new roof, new, air conditioner, anything that would add value to the house? I'll sit down with them and go over that and take a tour of the house now that they've been in it for a little while and see what they've done to it, come up with a value for them. And then it's going to be basically the same process of, going through a lender and, seeing what they'd be pre-approved for if they sold that home. And I mean, that's basically it. This time they'll have a little bit more experience though, and it's a little bit, of an easier process for them.
Okay, so let's throw a little twist in this former first-time home buyer. These people have lost their mind, and they installed pink carpet in every room, and they've painted every wall pink. Now it's time to sell. How do you deal with a situation? And I'm asking this because I had to deal with this myself. How do you deal with a person who has installed pink carpet and every room is painted pink?
So I am pretty blunt, I really don't have a filter, and my face always tells it all. So I would just tell them the truth and tell them, you know, you need to do something about these pink walls and this pink carpet because people are going to walk in here and be horrified.
But isn't it funny how usually a husband and wife, one of them is visual and the other one's not? I mean, example. Usually with a husband and wife, one of the spouses says, "Oh, we can paint." You know, they'll go ahead and do it, and they say we can paint after we close. The
Mhm.
other one will says, "Oh my God, there's no way we're buying this house. Look at
Yes,
the walls." You
yes,
find that to be true
yes.
with the husband and wife?
Yeah, it's true. And then I think the one that is saying we can't paint kind of really gives off some negative vibes, and it ends up being that they'll totally disregard that house because of a paint color. You know, because one of them is saying we're going to have to spend $50,000 to have the house painted.
Which is crazy. It's not
Yeah,
nowhere near 50,000.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I always suggest to my sellers, you know, the bedrooms are okay if they're different colors because most people are going to paint the bedrooms, you know, to their liking anyway. But you know, main living area in the house, you really want to have something neutral with neutral flooring. Um, you know, it makes a big difference. And I, you know, try and tell them stay away too much from the really trendy colors, but keep it neutral.
What about the buyer who knows it all? This is the EOE, expert on everything. In other words, he feels like the only reason you're there is to be his taxi cab driver. You don't know crap about real estate. How do you deal with people like that?
Um, like I said, I'm very blunt, and I probably roll my eyes a lot. um, I can be pretty aggressive with, you know, trying to make someone understand, but I mean, sometimes it's just you just got to accept it and either deal with it or
Yeah.
move on. Yeah.
You know, I tell buyers that are like that, I said, look, here's the honest to God truth. I don't have to sell you a house because you're going to take about 4 steps, and by the fourth step, you will decide whether you want this house or not. I said,
Mhm.
all I got to do is watch you walk, count 4 steps, and look at your face, and I can
Mhm.
tell you whether you're going to buy it or not. I can do
Yeah.
nothing. I could be mute, and I can
Mhm.
see whether you're going to buy the house or not.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, and
agree
then
with
that's
that?
always the house that they go back to. They compare everything else to when they found, you know, when they found their house, because they're always comparing everything else they saw to that house. But yeah, it's body language and facial expressions, and you know as
And
soon
when
as
they
they walk
and
into
when they
their house.
start talking about, well, I think the couch could go there. We could put the
Mhm.
TV
Mhm.
there. You know, it's a
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
And then
about
when they go and they really drag their feet on that one and it gets sold.
oops?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know, us realtors have a hard job when it comes to making the offer because there's a lot of times that we tell buyers the truth, which is if you really like this house, you better make an offer on it because if you don't, somebody's going to like it just a little bit more than you, and they're going to make an offer. In the
Mhm.
buyer's mind, they're thinking, oh, they're just being pushy. But in your mind, you're thinking, this is reality. This is going to happen to you if you don't listen to me.
Mhm.
Do you find that to be true as a realtor in Tampa?
Yes, yes. And I always say to people, you know, when I get the whole, I want to think about it tonight, I'll get back to you tomorrow. You know, well, the person that saw it yesterday could be doing the same thing, you know, the day before could be doing the same thing and is making an offer, you know, and I let them know, you know, there's some pretty stiff competition. We don't have a lot of inventory. There are buyers that are looking every day. And, you know, you got to pull the trigger quick or it's going to be gone.
I remember when I first got licensed, I dealt with a buyer who had just gone through a divorce. She's buying a house by herself. She's really nervous about buying houses. She made 7 offers on 7 different houses and bailed out in the middle of every option period. How would you deal with a person like that?
I had one of those people last year. And after house number 3, I said, I'm sorry, but you got to find someone else. You know, it was every excuse in the book. I lost my job. Oh, I really didn't lose my job. It's crazy. I mean, even the lender bailed.
Really?
Yes.
Well, what hurt me the most is that house number 8 that she bought with another realtor, I had just canned her after number 7.
Yeah.
And the next house she bought, she went with. So I figure,
I mean, that might have been, what she needed, unfortunately, to get motivated. Did you just lose me?
oh,
Can you hear me?
okay, there you go. Okay. Well, that's
I mean,
probably why I have so much gray hair now is from working with buyers.
yeah, me too. I'm actually just like, I'm just going to let it go gray. It costs too much to keep getting it colored.
So let's move on. Now that we've talked about sellers, we talked about buyers. The next category is investors. Do you work with investors who are looking for investment properties, second home properties, flip houses, REOs, short sales, anything like that?
Not too much. Not too
Why
much.
is
And
that?
just because my experience is, it's a lot of wasted time. I've worked with investors before where you show them 10 houses and they say, okay, I want to put an offer on every 10, all 10, but we're going to go in. So we're going to cut the listing price in half and offer that. And at that point, you don't even want to write the offer. You'll just make it verbal because you know it's not going to get accepted. And, probably 4 years ago, it was a good market for investors. It really isn't now. Everything's going for market value. There's really not too many deals.
So if I called you and I said, Danielle, I'll need to find me a condo on the beach. I want to keep it at maximum 350, but I want to get it at 3.
All right, so I would laugh at you if you wanted a condo on the beach for $300,000 because that's not happening.
Okay, I won't be calling you. I'll find somebody else then.
No, there really is nothing out there. I mean, but that's a hard one. We have so many cash buyers that are looking for condos on the beach that'll pay full price. But I mean, I potentially would try and help them and see if they would become realistic with their offers. Because most things out there are selling for list price. So we could do a couple and see how it goes. And if they didn't get realistic, then
All right, so let's talk about something else. We've talked about now we're going to find out about the real you. Okay, here we go.
Oh boy.
Tell me what you dislike the most about real estate.
Dealing with incompetent agents.
Ooh, good one. And tell me what that looks like to you.
That looks like somebody that, just got their license, think they know everything. They try and play it off rather than saying, hey, I'm new. Can you help me through this? They try and play it off like they, have been in the business for 20 years and they know it all. They won't ask for help. I'd rather an agent, tell me I'm new and I need some help with this. Can you help me or guide me through this transaction? Than, an agent that is trying to pretend they know it all.
Okay. So is that your biggest pet peeve in real estate? Other realtors?
And people that waste my time.
Okay. What's your favorite thing about real estate? Favorite
Helping
thing?
people.
What's
Helping
that?
people. Helping people. Yeah.
Okay.
Helping people buy and sell their homes. The excitement of sitting at, at the closing table and handing the keys over to a new home buyer, that's my favorite.
All right. So anything else you want to talk about? Because I think we've covered a lot here.
I don't think so.
So do you recommend that for anybody that's watching this, that's thinking about getting their real estate license, do you recommend this to brand newbies who know nothing about real estate? Do you think it's a good thing to do?
I'm sorry, what did you say? I lost you on the last part of that.
Do you think it's a good thing to do to get your real estate license and get into real estate?
Right now, it's a really, really tough time to get in. We have had so many new agents in Florida that are floundering. We have a really low inventory, and you can get buyers, but you may not be able to find them houses. I think right now we're just flooded. We're flooded with new agents. I don't think it's a great time for somebody to get licensed.
Interesting. When we get off this call, I'm going to have to tell you about how to do international real estate because I do international stuff. Because I can solve that problem with the newbie who's trying to figure out what to do in the state of Florida or wherever he's at.
Yeah.
So very last question. So I want you to tell everybody that's watching this, give them your contact information, which means your name, telephone number, email address, website address, because I know that when people see your face, your tan face,
I'm gonna have to go sit out in the sun now.
well, see, I did the spray tan, so mine's fake. It doesn't matter.
Oh, you're giving me grief and you spray tan. That's not fair.
Well, I want you to tell people how to contact you when they're looking for a realtor in Tampa.
Okay. So my name is Danielle Nielsen. My number is 727-946-6428. My email is Danielle, DANIELLE, at Nielsen Group Realty. That's NIELSON grouprealty.com. And my website is www.daniellenielsen.com.
Also, now the cell phone number, can they also text you at that number?
Yep, text is fine. I text back.
Good. Right away. Right away?
Right away.
Okay, good.
Yes, because my phone is always in my hand. Unless I'm with a client, I do not disturb. The time that I'm with clients is for them.
That's a good point. So if you're showing houses, you don't answer the phone while you're showing houses?
Absolutely not.
Good one. I like that.
I mean, if I can text, if they're, deciding on what color carpet and I can get a quick text in, I will. But I don't like, that's their time. The person that I'm with, it's their time. And I don't like answering the phone unless it's a complete emergency.
I'm so glad you said that. That is awesome. I love it when realtors do that. Sit there and answer the phone and talking to somebody while your buyer's ready to leave, they're ready to go out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so anyway, hey, thank you again for being a part of this. Look for Danielle.
Thank you for having me.
Do what now?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it was awesome. We should do this again. We could talk about tannings, spray tan. It'll be great.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so anyway, look for Danielle on our website, which is World Realtor Network. Go to Florida, click on Tampa. You go straight to her website. Call her, give her a hard time about how dark she is living in Florida. It'll be great. I'm sure that she'll remember this conversation, and there's probably going to be a hitman after me after this is over.
Well, listen, I'm in my 40s. I got to worry about wrinkles. I got to stay out of the sun.
I'm older than you.
Yeah, but wrinkles on guys are okay.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I'm going to get a face. I'm going to do the old face.
No, don't do that.
Everything. Like Kenny Rogers. It looks like crap right now. All right. So anyway, y'all have a great day. Thanks for joining us. Call Danielle. She rocks. Okay. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.